last series before we go to the SSE Arena, when we get to the top 8 of what started as 24 through the Challengers and now the Legends. And it's two Legends going at it in the server, NIP versus MiBR. And interestingly, we go to a third map with NIP looking relatively more convincing throughout the course of the series, you could say, certainly on Mirage.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, your last chance to get your Counter-Strike fix before Thursday. It's the final map of this section of the Major. Who will be taking it? I'm not sure. Train has been good for MiBR in the past. It's been excellent for them in their SK game. It was dominant force for the longest time on that map. They certainly dropped off. NIP can play it as well. They've had some great victories on it in the past, but I would say it's an inconsistent map for them. It's not their home map per se, and I'm excited to see which way this one goes. We've got some of the big names from NIP turning up, especially Get Right and Forest. Good to see that.
Yeah, that's a legendary combo, certainly. The old guard of NIP, part of the original lineup.
Absolutely.
And both have looked excellent, you're right. Forrest has been rotating on and off of the AWP. I think even when he's had it, he's looked pretty solid.
Yeah.
But Lekro being mostly in that secondary, the one we have to continue to harp on if you're just joining is Dennis hasn't had the best series as of yet. And I think that is something that you can't, for 3 maps, eventually that's going to catch you out.
And it's not
nearly the last game.
It's the reason we pointed out is because we expect so much of him now. He's the star player of this squad, right? If he was playing a more suppressed role, we'd say that's as usual, but he normally is very, very good. And now he's at the pressure of the in-game leader responsibility removed. That's why we're talking about it a bit much. It's not like he's playing super bad or anything. It's just like we expect a bit more. So it's been a definitely interesting series so far. I have to say coldzera is looking amazing. Yeah. He could be a catalyst here to the MiBR victory as we get ready for the final map.
I'm gonna say that absolutely on this map, Cold could, but I think the more essential ingredient, I guess the cornerstone of it, is going to be Fallen's up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if they double up with Cold, that certainly comes into it as well, but they have to have the consistency from Fallen.
Everyone's saying Fallen is back. I've been convinced so far in the last few games. Let's see if he can finish things off in style here. I would say for that orb factor, I'm going to edge it slightly towards MiBR, but it should be an amazing game here. I'm really looking forward to this final one. Let's have a look at it then, shall we? It will be a CT star for NIP. Definitely an advantage, I would say. As they go for a fast outside approach here, smokes it down. Stewie and coldzera looking to get as close as they possibly can to the bomb train.
He's at Stewie's feet. He won't go beyond so as to step into them any further. To tick a bit of damage, just one tick. What's behind him will conceal him for a little bit longer away from Dennis, meaning the bomb goes down. He now can protect his teammates, swing out, spots the player a ticket. That's Rez. He's forced off of it, but he didn't see Lekro. Lekro gets damage. It's damage, but no kills until now. Rez and Lekro finally stepping up to take down 2. It's been quiet. They're on the defuse. Kid on it as well. Get Right's on it in the smoke, and Lekro's going to defend him. Bomb defused. It's gone, and NIP with the round.
Scary moment there. The 4 defuser, 2 terrorists alive, but the smoke was down. It's another pistol for NIP. They've actually took the lion's share of the pistol rounds here. It's been down to the 4 spies of MiBR. They've got them back into games. But NIP with another good start here. It's Reds, boost up initially and then starts plucking heads. And Lekro joins in. Bomb planting though, that's good news at least for MiBR. They haven't got the bomb down consistently. And a lot of these T-sided pistols. We'll see whether these P250s and Glocks, one flashbang will yield an inside plant. That's usually where most teams will head. And to be fair, Get Right playing so far back, I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of that. He's currently right at the back of the hitch of the inside bomb site. That actually almost allows him to plant, but he has got some backup now from Lekro, so that's going to be a little bit more beneficial for them going forward. There we go. Going towards upper for a 1 flash in. Human shield around the bomb planter, which is Stewie. Look out for him. If he goes down, this is all in vain. Good flashbang actually gets him closer to the side. They might have a plant here. That's great. Very good news for MiBR.
Yeah, right. Gets one on further on Fallen. Dennis catches out Stewie through the wall as they retreat at the ramp. It's Tarek and coldzera that are going to rotate over. The bomb planted again. You're right. It's very good. It's awesome. It's great. The economy, but it's going to be NIP that get the round once more. As they get on the defuse. Rez to stay up and alive. So too with Lekro. But here comes a buy, certainly.
A massive buy. They can bring the AWP out here if they want to. I'm not sure they will, but it's certainly available. They wanted to do it. 2 bomb plants in a row, and NIP know it. So they'll try and boost their chances, upgrading everyone to rifles here. Fallen doesn't go for the AWP. He'll stick to the AK like the rest of his team. A nice healthy buy there. All the grenades. Everyone's fully equipped. An early gun round here. Splitting The first two maps down the middle. Both of them ending in 8-7 halves. Get right close towards that inside ramp, and here's Dennis. He'll be given the responsibility of patrolling the Ivy area. Rez actually gets in towards main entrance very early. Great real estate on the map to take so early on in the round.
MiBR forced back off of it. Smoke down as well. Grow just floating with that before. It's solo B and a very passive solo B. Just get right. Usually you see that when you get the corner or if you're comfortably positioned in ramp. Sometimes you'll play it closer to the bomb site so you deny the plant, whereas like this is almost like a retake setup, right? They're trying to get more guys onto A, which allowed them therefore to put 2 toward Ivy early and the forward stance toward A main. I get it. I get why they're doing it. It's just it's not normally a setup you see from the single player.
And the thing is, it's fine. MiBR would assume it's a normal setup, you know? So they're going to play like usual and get right very close to the other site if required. But Reds for now, up close towards that main entrance, completely destroyed with that flash. Perfectly done. But so is that Forest on a bit of a rampage here, but upgrades to the AK-47. That costs him his life. And now a 4 versus 3. 35 seconds remain. Fer not wasting any time here as he pushes closer and closer to the site. Can't hit the shot, but Lekro certainly can.
Cold played that so well to just stay in. Thought he might get flashed off. Forrest pushed through, didn't see him next to the wall. Here's a man who needs to step up. Dennis trying to swing out, gets to Sandwich. He's going to hold station for now. He's knowing that there's a bomb plant impending. That's when he wants to move. Didn't see it. He does get the planter. Did he see it? Not quite. Tarek gets some response from Hitch. Had he had seen him, he might have gone for Tarek first and then swung to get the planter, but it's Get Right with a chance in it nonetheless based on that single kill. Knows where one player is and anticipates correctly where the second is with some utility. He's going to hold this. Nerves of steel, but unfortunately Tarek swings out and checks.
Quite a brave and interesting maneuver there from Get Right. I liked it though. It's one of the most difficult bomb sites to clutch on the CT side when you, especially in a 2 versus 1 like that. Hundreds of different setups the terrorists could deploy at that point. You've just got to guess and work out how they're positioned. He gave a very good go. They couldn't have the 1 second defuse. Tarek had to check it. And unfortunately for Get Right, it all falls apart. They will force into this one though. It's actually pretty decent. You can see a couple of compromises made. It's the scout of Forest and Rez with the CZ, but there is an ult for Lekro. Not up against rival sniper just yet. So this is actually going to be a pretty competitive round. 2-1. MiBR. Well, it's fired and quickly silencing them there. Great shot from Stewie. Cold Zera keeps applying the pressure. Now the bomb not going to be planted just yet, but Dennis will do whatever he can to stop them getting any closer. 3 versus 2. Forest at the back lines with the scouts. They're starting to rotate back towards in and out. Fallen's got the bomb. That should be the round in itself, considering there's no kits available and barely any utility. Might not even be worth going for. I'd say recover the AWP, save the AK as well, and that wouldn't be the worst outcome in the world. There's the orb for Forest, and he's just going to save that towards heaven.
On the yoga mat.
Indeed.
The bright blue yoga mat. So bomb babysat for obvious reasons, and we'll end exactly as we are now with 5 alive, 3-2, and 2-2 on the score as MiBR pull it back. So the early buy beneficial in the last round. Again, they win out this one, but the op saved, an AK as well for Dennis. Somewhat useful for an IP, certainly useful for an IP. I shouldn't say somewhat useful, but more so that they can't really force around it. Even with those 2 players having weapons, they don't have enough to drop themselves for their teammates.
2-2. Back and forth we go. AWP for Forest this time. AK for Dennis. What's the play? I agree. Not really worth forcing into this one. Maybe some P250s for those lesser equipped, but we'll see. I think
Forest's. Okay, it's not. I was looking for his spawn. I was thinking if he could get to the corner at B. He's still going to go to ramp, though. So he has to be aggressive with his op, right? He has to try and get an opening pick. If he plays back toward Ivy and identify that it's there, he gives them the rest of the map to play off of. So he wants to try and get here and challenge this early. Unfortunately, didn't really have the corner spawn, and Stewie's already gone by. Rez identifies that, spots it, can't do anything about it.
Now, after hearing that orb at the lower ramp, you might think they just book it towards outside. That would be the case right now, but they've waited a while. Forest might be anticipating that as well and stay towards inner. They could change their minds. We'll see. But opening pick, though, it might be looking to take the lead here on the T side. It's a very CT-sided map up there with your nukes, your Infernos. Train probably number 2 in the map pool in that sense.
Nukes tend to be very T-sided, you're right.
Yes.
Get right. Play it under the ladder. If he... More so if Dennis is able to collect a kill on someone that's above and a gun falls down over the edge, perfect. So it's not a bad position for Get Right to try and hold with. Even with just that USP. No spray through it from Stewie. He walks directly into that AWP. Now they'll go outside. Now they realize, okay, it is still there. Let's get away from it. Cold can't quite collect on Lekro, who swings in, gets on top of the bomb train. Still trying to watch for anyone coming through Sandwich. He certainly was right in guessing there would be, but Tarek's better with the shot. In fact, he's above on top of the train, and he sees Dennis rotating in from Z Connector as well. Everyone's down. Forrest's op wants to be saved, but bomb planted. There's tons of time to send someone out in the hunt. In fact, they'll send 2, even if he finds one of these shots. Unlikely. He'll get both. Oh, knife? I don't think they expected him to be... Okay, they actually wanted the knife, and that's... I don't know if I agree with that. I think that they were running with the knife to get maybe closer at first, and then one of them hit him with a knife, and they went, right, I'll try it too. Let's get a knife. I don't know. I'm confused.
Yanko's not going to be happy with that.
No, that's like the complete antithesis of Yanko's like theory in coaching.
Stop buggering around trying to knife people. Get it done.
I want to give them a benefit of the doubt and say that they didn't think he was going to be that close and ran out without their weapons, but why would you even do that in that situation?
They definitely could have shot at the second guy. He just saw, like you said, they saw he got into a knife fight, and Forrest actually goes down with the bomb there.
I think he did.
Yeah,
he did. Wow, okay. So in some ways that pays off.
Yeah, it kind of worked out. Forrest died. Okay, that's a really... I was about to... So, okay, you were hunting around, but this guy definitely could have shot him, right?
Yeah, second fallen.
But he dies with the bomb anyway, so that's the orb gone. So I guess it's fine.
I mean, I guess.
All that we talked
they
about.
They lose one more gun than they should have.
Yeah. But whether they even realize he went down, I'm sure they did. But it's a weird one. He thought he was in the clear. Didn't work out. Sometimes it can be a little bit misleading. Some maps, it's ridiculous how close you can be to the bomb. Like Inferno A-site, for example, you sit, look at it from 10 meters away on train. You could be a country mile and still take damage. Yeah, go take a sit down. Get into the next round. There is a buy for an IP here. Not the greatest, not the worst. An SMG for Get Right. He's also got the kits. They've got the utility they need to win a round, but no luxuries. Orb now for Fallen. Let's see what he can do with this particular weapon. Great showings on the first 2 maps, Mirage and Cash.
So Stewie gets around the corner. They'll take their time. Get Right. Didn't spot him on the first shoulder peak. Will now smoke down. Wants to be defensive, and they want to get aggressive. That's not bad. The second Stewie's toes touch the ground, Get Right's head is removed. Cold Zero puts a bomb in position at default, and what's the call from NIP? They don't have any money in reserve. They have no kits. They really don't have a shot at this, so I imagine it's going to be a very early save call. If Fallen wants to go hunting, he's got to be a little bit careful with that op. If he drops down, Rez is there. They'd love to take an op onto the CT side for free. They are looking, and MiBR wants to take a full advantage of the economic situation. Like you say, it is a T-sided map as well, so that's even better off.
Here comes Tarek, looking to punish any of the remaining CTs. Strange round, only 1 kill picked up for a victory. Suggests you've called the perfect strategy at that point to allow it to happen, but MiBR managing to extend the lead now 4-2. Stewie really nailing that first shot. My God, he barely even saw Get Right. And as usual, you normally have one player anchoring towards Insight. His job is just to get 1 kill, stay alive. That's the anchor's responsibility. Anything more than that's great. Anything less is a nightmare, because at that point, the rotations are so far away, you might as well save, especially when you're on the brink of being completely broken. Good choice there by NIP. Great shot by Stu. And let's get into the next round. Important one this. Still struggling NIP. Couldn't even justify a bit more investment. All for Fallen. Still going to be uncontested for now. Dennis got his work cut out for him. Good smoke though. Fallen fires for the shot. We'll reposition now, knowing that they can't really do much more in that particular area of the map.
Flashes. Everything required to take over the Brown Halls on the T side. They're going to leave that anchored now with Stewie. Cold throws over the bomb. That goes to Bird. Close out the window, standard procedure. Molotov down the ladder suggests they want to force them back to the doorway rather than inside of it and drop on top of it. And I would say that's normally complemented by a peek from A main, but as there's no one there, I think they're just trying to hold the player at ladder at bay and then head over toward B. Nade as well. It's going to keep Rez further back, and sure enough, they are heading over toward the Brown Halls.
Yeah, you can see both those grenades were designed to land in the entrance, whereas CT thinks it's safe to hold. Nice little idea, wasn't perfectly executed, but they're still relentless in their approach. Rez completely blind. To be fair, doesn't have to aim too much in that particular scenario. Gets one. Get right, looking much better inside now. Bit of backup here from Lekro. Should guarantee the round. Bomb down, 15 seconds remaining. Fallen has to save that AWP. NIP, though, have done it. Rez especially. That was so awkward for him. They threw everything down towards that ladder, including the kitchen sink. We had Molotovs, flashbangs, smokes, HEs, and players, and he manages to get one, stay alive, push them towards inside. That's why Get Right and Lekro are waiting as they win the round. It will be their third on the board now. They still don't have the AWP, but remember, they don't have a world-class AWPer who only needs to play that weapon. They've got riflers who can pick up the AWP. So they're fine running 5 and 4s, or AKs especially. And we'll see what round 8 brings. Fallen might go for the main pick this time. Smoked out before, realizes that Ivy's pretty covered. Indeed, he will head there. Molotov starts, but he receives one as well, gets on the pallets. Good position for the pretty players getting on top of the trains there. The grenade usage has been great. Doesn't inflict a ton of damage. That one might do. There it is. Fur takes that in the back pocket. Down to 53.
Rez again will work to ladder. Successful in the last round, why not give it a go again? This time he is a lot closer, so didn't see anyone above him, but utility might have been better served. Fallen's going to open it up. Actually gets Forest. That's outside sight. That came from A main, so we must have swung out wide to get that shot. Back upstairs. Dennis is tagged by the smoke. Does Tarek respond to that? I thought he might. Because the utility hitting him on the way by, excuse me, it wasn't a smoke, but either way, it might have suggested that to take the fight was the right idea. Either way, Tarek gets taken down. That controls Ivy. It allows Dennis to fall back. He's only got 5 HP. But there's so much time still at 40 seconds that him falling off of Ivy and that much damage done means that Cold Zero could actually still open up the outer site. More so, keep in mind that if they go B, if they want to commit to that right now, which it looks like they will, he can lurk in late from the back tracks as the CTs are trying to retake.
Go through CT spawn and be a right nuisance. That is definitely a possibility here. They are going to execute towards inside. Get Right was good before. Can't connect the shots this time. Fallen and Stewie help themselves to the inside bomb site. Cold Zero is not even needed for the flank, but he is there to catch the player saving. That is fantastic. So it actually has 2 very good outcomes, whatever happens there. Oh my goodness! Cold Zero, he wants to go to the arena. Great shots by him. Takes the money away. Looks like an ice-cold killer as well. Very calm as finishes things off there. Good night. Rez, this was a hell of a shot. Wow. 2 majors under his belt already. Cold Zero. On to third, but it looks things. Forest with the scout. They are going to force into this one. 5-3 down, Matt. Really not looking good for an IP on that CT side. Need to start getting some rounds on the board now.
Light shot. Rez just barely gets away with his life. That was based on spawn. The AWP transfers back into Fallen's hands. Tarek once again will face off at Ivy, and once again it's Dennis that's on the backside of the server. Flash in. Tarek's not even blinded. The flash went too far, and Tarek was perfectly positioned, knew exactly what that flash meant as well. You only really throw that one with a smoke already down for one reason.
This is such an important round. Lost the first pick. Put all of their faith in towards that scout. Hope and time dwindling for an IP. Need at least 6-7 rounds on the CT side to feel comfortable. Still a lot to do, and this one isn't looking any better. Less than a minute though for MiBR. Still not impossible to bring this one back, but if you look, Matt, they've got no defuse kits just one smoke now to hold off what could be a full execution with 5 smokes. Molotovs, flashbangs. How do you even do that? You have to play in front, up close, like Rez is trying to do right now, and you need multiple frags from your key players here. Rez has been such an important influence in this series so far. Great aim, great talent. Can he do anything here?
He gets one. Tarek was already too close, and on top of the ladder, he couldn't ingest in time. Meanwhile, Get Right on top of the bomb train. Looked like he would have a lineup for 2 players, but Tarek again is the one to strike. Forrest flying the scout in position, has no chance to get through the smoke, and it's Stewie once more that finds MiBR the round. The money, or lack thereof, certainly showing for NIP in this round, and it's going to get worse in the next as well because Lekro is in a 1 versus 4.
Yeah, he really is. Not really much he can do with this one, I'm afraid. Remember, this is a reset as well. They won the round prior to this one, or the one before, whichever way you look at it. As he'll have to now save this M4 to have any sort of fighting chance of causing damage in the next. I don't think he will survive here. They are coming for him. To be fair, he heads towards inside and no one is there, so he will take the M4, but his teammates will only get $1,900 per player into the next round. Lekro will survive, but they can't force around this. 6-3 down. They have to take another eco. As we'll see what happens here. Lekro. With that saved rifle, they're going to take their time to work out the play. USPs. And nothing else.
Well, nothing else aside from the saved M4. So Lekro with the hot hand. We'll see if it pays off or not as Stewie will throw out the Molotov to the corner, knowing that the one gun was saved. Make sure there's going to be no contest at that position. They just want to secure the map before they start to attack. He is getting closer. So too, though, is Rez. After that Molotov extinguishes and flashed in as Stewie should find a kill. Do I say that? I didn't realize that Rez had gotten back that far, so he's able to step off the ledge and fall inside of the site. Costs him 9 HP in doing so. Gravity, Henry.
It's a hell of a thing, and Stewie looking to pour help from above here as Rez will answer back. This could be a little bit uncomfortable for MiBR, but overall, bomb will be planted. Lekro's nowhere to be seen. Comes out the connector now, but should be able to deal with it quite convincingly. Great stuff by him, and we'll see what the next round brings.
It's not going to bring much. Well, it might now. I was going to say in the way of utility to go along with a buy if you're NIP, given that you're only heading into a 3rd stage bonus, but picking up that AK certainly benefits. He's also got a Molotov picked up from that, so that saves a little bit more money in that sense as well.
Well, the AK for Dennis, it will be something. 3 versus 1, but he doesn't look like he'll be able to catch any exits here, but things getting quite dire now for NIP. Dennis holding towards CT spawn. We'll see if he does survive. Dennis miscalculated, Forrest miscalculated before and lost the AWP. Looks like he'll be absolutely fine this time as he will save that AK over. They have got a buy available, especially with that saved weapon. MiBR is looking deadly right now. Every round is going in their favor. That's 3 in a row for them. Remember, it was the pistol victory for NIP, but both bombs got planted and just set the foundations for this really amazing financial situation for MiBR. They get the bomb down twice, they then have full buys in round number 3, and then they win 4 rounds in a row. NIP answer back after 4, they get reset, and they find themselves here. They haven't really had the opportunity to show us the AWP power on the CT side. It just hasn't been possible. Incendiaries in from Rez, and at this point, how they lost so much damage at the very start. It's all gone a bit pear-shaped here with the initial utility. Forrest and Rez down to about half health. MiBR look very comfortable right now. And you can see NIP just don't have the money to justify aggressive pushes. They can't seem to go for those first picks anymore. They're constantly just playing defaults and waiting for their opportunity to get kills. Just don't have the resources to really try anything a little bit more audacious.
So Rez holds bottom side of the ladder. As always, that's pretty standard in the procedure for NIP. Excuse me as I break things. Pretty good at that. Forrest is a little bit unorthodox, I suppose, based on trends and playing beside the A main train. Fallen with no smokes down at Ivy this time. Is finally going to get an op in position to trying to capitalize, couldn't quite catch on Lekro. It's Dennis that's off to the left side, in fact, in the cubby, so he's already in the hallway, past the entrance of it, just holding off by the door. Stewie's going to go through. Gun barrel's not going to show. The grenade in his hand actually benefits them. Dennis! Oh, Dennis! He gets one, but again, it's another situation where in which it took him a lot longer than it should have. That could have easily been two, and Getright's timing just off. Won't catch Stewie. Rotating around from Old Bomb. Now he will. Okay, he has pushed up, taken advantage of it. That's all due to confidence and Forrest finding another kill. And it's Cold, Zera, and Fallen.
It's looking good, NIP. Not out of this just yet. That's a confident round for them. 4 players survive. The time runs out for Cold Zera, but that's not going to affect his finances too much. He's still got 6,000s in reserve. But still, NIP can still win the half, so I don't get too worried until we actually get to the closing few rounds and work out which way this actual half will go. Cold Zera now discussing with Fallen. No timeouts required just yet. Double orb set up for the first time. Lekro and Dennis, not Forrest. It's being thrown around.
Dennis has actually gotten 6 kills in this. He's not anywhere or in any way failing to get kills. It's just these awkward moments for him. An off day. Forrest wants in. Look at him. Waiting for him. Stewie being one of these. Certainly made no mistake. There was no flash. It was all too easy, you could argue. As Getright does get cold pack, Stewie finds a second onto Rez. Dennis has the AWP this time. He's going to play it from Hitch. Thankfully, that smoke already in position. Won't be able to push through because of that. He would have been blinded and standing in the open. It almost saved him in some ways as Getright gets Stewie back with full level on 3s. Bomb to be planted. Fur did not push forward enough. Getright's on the bomb train. I'm not sure Fur's aware of this positioning. If he hadn't gone all the way, he might have been able to catch the planter. Did he make noise because Fur suddenly turned around?
Remember what we said about how difficult it is to retake here. 2 orbs in the retake. This is looking hard. They've still got a Molotov for the bomb as well. MiBR with Fallen coming around towards Connector. This is perfect, but Dennis can spot Fur. Here we go, a chance at least. But will they suspect that Fallen's coming from that Connector?
This is exactly it. Fallen is perfectly positioned. Dennis down. Now they know he's there. Problem is, they tap the bomb once. Fallen gets Lekro as well. Getright really has to do it all with the AK. He needs 4 kills. Balls, but Bombs. Balls, yeah, he's going to be balls because he's going to hold on to it. Did the Molotov get there? Just barely did. I didn't see it under his feet. But the bomb too far gone. That's what I was trying to say.
You got there in the end.
8-4. You had too many balls in my mouth, apparently.
They all just wanted to come out. Either way, yeah, Molotov was perfect. Fallen shuts it down there, man. That's so impressive. What a call to go all the way towards inside. Hit the shot. I hope you get to see the whole sequence here. As he hits that first one, nails the second by the sound of it. Yeah, indeed. Then he's got the awareness to know where the bomb is. It just about reaches. You're right. We couldn't quite see it from the first-person view of Getright, but it does reach, and it resets NIP again. That's such an important factor. This might look like it's not too bad. It's still got 4 rounds in it. This is the CT side of train. You could not afford to give MiBR this many rounds on their T side, and this looks like they're guaranteed a 9th as well. As Forrest will open things up, but I don't think they'll get much more done here. Stewie's too close to the bomb side. The smokes are down. There's damage inflicted. Dennis, good with the pistols, but only good for 1 this time. Getright at least making this competitive. 2-on-2 now. They'll boost over. Maybe I spoke too soon. 1 minute 20, and MiBR still have a bit of work here to do. Oh, a missed shot there from Rez. That might give the game up.
Might. Rez tried to do what he could with the P250. Still down to a 2 versus 2, which makes things rather interesting and rather impressive from NIP to defend as such. Getright has been getting on bombs and holding them in this game quite a bit. It's not really gone his way aside from the opening pistol, but speaking of pistol, he gets a kill. Cold goes down. He had no idea that he was going to be toward the backside of that train, so Fallen has to be perfect. He's so far away from the bomb. He's actually expecting perhaps a flank, but he'll wait till he hears the cue and goes perfectly timed to take down Rez. No kit. Getright does have the AK, but can't do anything with it because of aim punch, and Fallen finds the headshot.
Too strong. Fallen has been impressive throughout this series. 2 back-to-back huge plays from him. The inside flank before, and now holding on against a full eco, but it came down to 2 versus 1 against him. He plays it perfectly, and it's demonstrating once again how powerful it is to have the bomb down outside. Equal situation. You could toy with the CTs. They did what they could, but the lack of information really did send them astray, and it does fall apart. But no orbs again, just clutching at straws now. NIP have to buy. They need these last 2 rounds. 1 kip, bare bones utility. They've kept MiBR modestly, so they can win this round. MiBR will be broken for the final round. So Fallen to open things up. Dennis just offers himself up at the start. Took the peak, really didn't work out.
Forrest will be slow and patient in his positioning. He'll hold toward Ivy despite that they've already lost Dennis. He knows how important and integral that section of the map is. That's how quickly he can rotate back toward the front side of A should the aggression go that direction. Meanwhile, they will probe out the brown halls. Can we call that a colonoscopy?
Sure, why not?
All right, nice. That's the new default name.
Well, not the default name. It can be the alternative name, perhaps. As we get into the 5-on-4, remember, CTs have to react in these sort of plays. A full execution when you've already got a man disadvantage can be very, very difficult to hold on to. But I like this setup. You can see Get Right watches lower ramp from the upper ramp. Lekro's got his back, and they can double down and help each other out. But it all comes down to the shots. Stu is incredibly good at hitting those. Thank you for demonstrating. Jake Yip, as he takes down 2. Fur says, you're a bit too good. I'm going to have to put you down. As the team kill comes in, but I think NIP still have nothing to say, as they'll have to fall back and save for the last round. Double digits already, Matt, and maybe the chance of a few more.
Yeah, this is a big lead.
Well, one more. It's round number 4.
10-5 certainly, I mean, 11-4 is as well. It's train, it's momentum, it's T-sided, which means it not only in the virtue of the strategy being T-sided, it makes it even more easy because the money's harder on the CT side, right? So it really is momentum based on that attack. That said, I think you need 5. I think you really need 5 if you're on IP, which may be almost impossible considering the money. So these 2 M4s absolutely saved.
They're going to be holding behind the dumpster. They're a 3rd stage loss bonus, meaning you get $2,400 per player into the final round here for an IP. It's looking likely that MiBR are going to the playoffs here unless someone goes absolutely huge on the T side. I always say that though, but it always seems to go the full distance, so you never know. Especially when there's so much on the line, a lot of pressure, mistakes are made. You can never count any of these teams out. 2 scouts, CZs, M4s, looking for round number 5. I totally agree. 5 would at least, you'd feel like this is possible. 11-4 down the CT, you'd be like, this is going to be very, very difficult.
Dennis peeking down toward A main. Double scout CZ. Good luck. Not impossible. We saw it come to a one-on-one when they had pistols just a few rounds ago. Between Fallen and Get Right in that occasion. Ultimately, the bomb being planted is what saved them because they didn't have kits and no armor for Get Right. Didn't have the time to really take the fight. Speaking of bomb, it will be Fallen heading over toward B. First sees the bullets coming through and decides, all right, I'll just duck down.
Take cover.
Like how he stopped and looked at it first, then went, okay. But this is what it comes to. Lekro sees the shoulder, fires in. Actually hit Tarek, not actually Tarek, no he didn't, the damage was already done. Stewie instead, Lekro does eventually collect onto him as well as Fur, so it works out. They've got the advantage. There's a tag on Tarek, and that means he's susceptible of going down to not only the fourth leader of the scouts on a body shot. Cold has other ideas. He's got Forrest and Lekro. Finally, Dennis responds. It's a 2-on-2. Bomb not yet planted.
Yeah, but this flank from Rez is actually timed perfectly. This could be enough. They won't be suspecting it, but Rez being a little too tentative with his approach. He heard the footsteps. He knows he has the advantage here. 10 seconds on the clock. It's unlikely they watch the flank, so he's got a guaranteed kill. Doesn't even have to take it.
No, that's perfect. He wants to get as close as he can so as to use the advantage,
No
but
way.
Fallen
What?
still responds in time. He literally walked closer to disallow that possibility, and Fallen against all odds makes it work once again. Dennis has got an M4 though, and Fallen's on 5 HP, but he made the cross. Dennis missed the shot. Fallen can now buy more time, more space, and remember, there's no kit for Dennis, but he's got the time, surely, and NIP will get the 5th round.
They do, but it wasn't clean. They will have that defuse as well, but Dennis, I'm sure he was feeling the pressure at that point. Fallen so sneaky in those sort of situations, but they get the all-important 5th round. Now, that's not necessarily good news, but it's better than it could have been. 11-4 was looking certain with Cold's errors. A lot of performance there, but Lekro managed to take him down. The scout, Fallen though, how did he react to this? Luckily, Rez got the dink in to guarantee this goal for Dennis. Whew. That was very close indeed. Well, either way, must-win pistol for the Ninjas. If MiBR take it, they're potentially going to go up 13-5 here, which could be a death sentence for NIP. Last spots available in the playoffs. The FACEIT Major happening from Thursday to Sunday in the Wembley SSE Arena. Get your tickets. It's going to be an amazing show. For the first time ever, UK players have representation at the Major in general. They've both made it to the playoffs itself. It's a romantic tale of Counter-Strike.
Well, talk about the changing of the guard, Henry. You
Yep.
talked about this a little bit before this game because we wanted to see the result. This is a very different Major.
This very different indeed. If NIP do not go through, we will have no French players, we will have no Polish players, we will have one Swede in the form of Olof Meister, and that is a sign of the times if ever I've seen one. We've seen 2018, so many breakout performances from young players, young teams coming together, and significant drop-offs in performance from the quote-unquote old guard. We're seeing more of those names disappear and more brilliant young talents take the forefront of Counter-Strike. It would be such an interesting swing of events if we didn't have a single Swedish team in there.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
one Swede is so
Fnatic.
shocking. And yeah, Fnatic, I get what you're saying. And NIP, to further that up as well, I know that that's not quite the same old guard, but even not to have any of the Brazilians in, that's become something else we've gotten really used to. And it's one or the other. This game determines it.
It's crazy.
I shouldn't say any Brazilians. It's Tacos, obviously, and with Liquid. It's the same situation, though, right?
Indeed. Well, here we go. The all-important pistol round here. MiBR know if they can close this one out. All of a sudden, they're one step closer to a very convincing victory here on Train. His Tarek to receive first. He's going to have players in front of him, only good for one. As the bomb gets closer and closer, it's Forrest with the 3K with the Glock. He really does not want to go home just yet. It looks like they might have done enough here. Fur just floundering on the bomb site itself. He's got players all around him. Surely not going to get a kill here. I don't know how he's still alive now.
Well, Forrest gets for Stewie. Wrecked by him as well. 5 kills, an ace from Forrest in the pistol. We talk about him being in days gone by. We normally mention Dennis, but days gone by being a solid pistol player. Well, it's back again, and how fitting because it's been him and GetRight that have been so impressive throughout this series. He now has 14 kills total, takes over the lead for his team, and gives NIP a much, much needed pistol round. On the T side. First ace we've seen in this series.
I think you're right. And it's down to Forrest. Wants to keep fighting. That was a must-win pistol, and he delivers. Galil's, AK Mac-10, forced by again. MiBR so deadly in these rounds, you can't argue with their decision to purchase here. There is an argument to be made that they shouldn't be forced buying here. They should just be keeping the economy strong, the huge lead they have, and just finish it out with guns. But a team this talented, they'll be feeling confident they can pick this round up. Let's see what they can do with them.
Smoke down and deep for GetRight. Fur playing on top of the Train, has vision before that. No commitment, though. More commitment issues than me in high school. Selecro sits well back. He'll sit with a smoke and be ready to throw that to the outer sight. Not alone in that effort. Derek will hear that land. Back one toward Ivy is very interesting as well. The scouts, there is 2 of them cold. Meanwhile, with a deagle looking for a shot, damage applies, but only 49 onto Dennis and GetRight onto Fur. Along with that first kill means that it's now just 2 remaining, and it's the 2 scouts. Perfect. But it's another round for NIP.
Convincing stuff. And now the pressure starts to be applied towards MiBR. They will now struggle to bring out the AW. Luckily, Fallen has about $800 there. He'll be able to bring it out. He'll just be compromised when they have a helmet or any armor. But still, they're going to be struggling now in those initial rounds, as they didn't really get anything done there whatsoever in their force buy. It is going to be NIP keeping the majority of their players up. The Galils are there. GetRight's going to keep the Mac-10, means they can throw him into these bomb sites first. There's a lot of tight choke points on Train. A lot of teams like to favor inside on their anti-ecos, especially these ones. You can let him out towards that lower round, but the rest of the rifles can go upper. That's a very viable option, or you could just do a very slow default into an execution. We'll see which way they are inclined. Final game of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Get your friends in here. It's your last chance to get your Counter-Strike fix before Thursday. Hopefully this will have an explosive finish. We want to see this go the distance, maybe one more cheeky overtime before the playoffs begin.
Possible. Don't rule it out. Speaking of cheeky, that's a Zeus.
It is. Stewie's got that.
Who would have thought? NIP, MiBR battling for the last spot in the playoffs. MiBR finally flying that legendary name brought back to life. And it might be the first time they don't make it through to the top 8 as legends.
Well,
core,
bets are
that
off
is.
now. Considering they lost a pistol, NIP can definitely do this.
For NIP, what a return, as you say, to form. This is back to the legend status after missing majors. Multiple majors. Rez already underneath the sandwich. Forrest to take care of Fur on top of the train, and it's again clean and clinical. It's just Stewie. That Zeus was really the power of God. Maybe he'd have a chance, but really it's not, and he's really just hoping for some fun at this point. Might get one.
He's going to get it.
Ah, well done, Get Right.
Yep, baited it out. We are looking for the crowd pleaser. The Zeus kill didn't happen.
For all of the big crowd that is here.
The crowd would have been on their feet, but not going to happen. No, the crowd doesn't begin until Thursday. This is still within Twickenham. We're taking over 2 of the biggest stadiums in the country, Twickenham, and then
Twickenham.
going to Twickenham, yeah. And then we go over to Wembley after this. So exciting stuff for Counter-Strike. And here we go, exciting round up and coming. 3 players on Galil still. This is a bonus round if ever I saw one. The MAC-10, the Galils, lots of money in reserve, and MiBR timeout here. First one used on train. Yanko's getting stuck in. He knows the money's low. So like I said, Fallen has no armor, as you can see on the screens right now. They do not have any incendiaries. They have no kits. Fallen needs to think about how he gets the first kill here. Does he go towards upper ramp and try and patrol that alone, allowing them to have 4 rifles outside? Do they go for a push on the lower ramp with 2 rifles and try and get a pick and fall back? I would suggest they can't just sit back in the default setup here on the CT side. It's just a little bit too weak to hold off an execution, especially when you're expecting fast-paced strategy from NIP. They've got the bonus situation. You've barely got any kills. It's likely they go for a fast execution, either inside or outside, whichever they decide. I would say inside makes more sense with Get Right's MAC-10 ability here. He heads in that direction. And let's see which way they want to go with it. I'm quite excited to see what both teams will come up with here.
So speed from Get Right to get this far. Double flash from him, and his Molotov already thrown as he wants to get a lot closer to B. MAC-10. Doesn't spot anyone up close. So he'll sit back for now. Underneath of the ladder is Tarek. This nade might have his name on it. It will. Oh, will it ever?
That's great, but Fallen takes down one of the NIP players. That's Rez at the same time. So small victory for NIP. Massive step forward there for MiBR. That's the glass cannon orb doing fantastic work there towards Ivy. Just Forrest isolated on the right-hand side now as Tarek repositions on top of the ticket booth and connector.
Yeah, I'm still looking for a second shot. Fallen's hands, remember glass cannon, but absolutely perfect.
On a map like Train, glass cannon's actually not that big a deal. It's so long range, you can position correctly and avoid grenades and bullets if you so wish.
There's lots of cover.
Yeah.
So many angles you can use, as is the case for Fallen here. Again, he doesn't hit the shot, but easily slips in behind the bomb train. Tarek is aware that they are getting closer. Get Right's jumped across the bomb train and taken down Fallen with that MAC-10. That was probably quite pretty from his perspective.
Yeah.
As Lekro does get Tarek as well, having only gotten Get Right in return, it leaves us 3-on-3. If Cold swung now, okay, I take it back because Forrest is positioned at hell. I didn't think he was. I didn't see it at first because he could have gone and lined up 2 on the bomb train, but Lekro solves that first. Fur's in the same position. Stewie finds a kill, but Forrest never left that corner. He knew what his obligation was, that whole entire back wall, and Lekro gets nipped around. 5-0 start to this second half, looking likely now.
I'm so happy NIP won that, not because I wanted to win, because now we're going to go the full distance. We're going to see both teams fully tested now. NIP can tie things up at 10-10. Has to be an eco of sorts for MiBR here. And Get Right, yeah, he manages to take down the AWPer with the MAC-10. Just as we say, glass cannon is not a big deal. He gets destroyed at range by the SMG, so that's quite fun. As we'll see MiBR start to fall apart somewhat now. We've seen plenty of comebacks here. I think the whole side debate goes to hell completely when you get this much pressure on the line and so much hunger for victory from both teams. NIP know they can bring this one back now. This should be a guaranteed round. We'll see what they can do. Going towards the upper round, like I said, very prevalent position. When you're against the pistols, you get a bird's eye view of the site going on that upper ramp. Someone patrols lower, and you just want to be trading kills out there. Nice work from Forrest. Perfect stuff now. Molotov towards that connector. Get right, pushes through with the MAC-10. If he goes down, it's not a big deal. He gives away nothing. That is useless to the CTs.
Cold just looking for some pride at this point, making it perhaps a little more expensive for NIP, but it was the SMG, as you say. It really doesn't matter. 10-10. Nip back in this. Remember, this is it. All the marbles, Henry. Map 3, best of 3, and Lecro's getting left hanging. Forrest even, I thought he said no. I thought he looked at him and shook his head. No, just not until we win. Not until we win. Then I'll high-five.
Win first, and you can have all the fist bumps you want. Not that you'd want loads, but either way. Double up setup now. This is, so do you see what I mean? This kind of is a case in point for my normal financial rants, Matt. You've heard a million times.
Oh, I've heard them all.
Yeah, right? This is, if they hadn't have forced one that second round, they wouldn't have struggled so much and not been taken down by a MAC-10 because they would have all had armor. They would have had everything and they could have recovered. There's definitely two sides to every story, and a lot of people will disagree on my views on finances, but to close out big games, I feel like when you have a huge lead on the CT side, you should just give it a little bit and not have to force buy. So no kits again. They still haven't fully recovered, but at least they have the double orb setup. Stewie presumably patrols inside. Yes, indeed, alone, holding that upper ramp like we said. So that means he can now play that position alone, allowing 4 rifles outside. Still can be compromised though with the smoke execution. We are going to go the full distance here. And NIP have been playing better Counter-Strike in the second half than MiBR, I have to say. They haven't given away a single round yet on their T side.
Yeah, that's evident in the score. Biggest challenge yet though, double op setup. Fur being set up with a crossfire to work with Cold Zero. Typically, you get a smoke either right or left and then attack the opposing side, so having one on both respective entries. Perfect setup, potentially, to shut down anyone heading through. We know Forrest is already in position. Flash through. Oh, Forrest are caught by that. That's a great flash. They took that back brilliantly. Both of them peeking even so as to get the trade. And Fallen finds 2 very quickly on the AWP. Best defensive round yet, as it's Rez and Lecro. Bomb still up. Molotov for each of them. Smokes are already down as to the flashes, and now it is truly just Rez left in a 1 versus 4. So great play from MiBR.
Default into a basic execution of NIP, and Fallen gets it done, but so is Rez. He's not out of this just yet. Time suggests he can't win it, but he can make it expensive. Luckily for MiBR, Fur takes him down before any more damage is inflicted. Well done. MiBR take the lead once again, 11-10, but now the reset potential comes in. They will still have reset potential, even though the 4 players survived there, purely down to the fact it was such a weak fight before. Sure, they had all the rifles and double orbs, but now they need to reinvest with all the utility maps.
And you're right in saying double op as well is expensive. In
sure,
right.
So now they need to get all the grenades out, so we'll look at the final money, even with 4 players surviving. Look, 0 on Fur, 50 on Fallen, 900 on Cold Zero and Tarek, still well within that reset range. So this is another huge round with massive amount of gravitas surrounding it for either team. NIP's money still pretty healthy, but they know they can close this out. They take this round convincingly. Inside execution, punish the fact they've got double orbs and Stewie is playing it alone. That's the play right now. Forrest goes to challenge up a ramp. He is brave.
Stewie waiting. Arm shows, but so the nade. Looked away, didn't fire into it. Oftentimes you'll see an opper just guess in that situation, but didn't want to reveal that he was there, perhaps because there was no evidence to suggest that he was, and in staying silent, he strikes at the right time to take down Rez. Fur finds Forrest, another 2 kills for MiBR. Now that they've got guns out, now they're starting to roll, but the bomb is planted, and Fur down. It might still be a 2-on-4. It's not a bad situation should Dennis be able to collect because he's far forward. They have to go by him. Lecro's trying to take aggro. Unfortunately, he welcomed an op shot from Fallen that certainly does not help Dennis's chance. And again, he's wide of the mark, so it's going to be MiBR with 12 rounds.
It was looking so good. As I built up, that punish towards the inside bomb site, the fact that Stewie's there alone was perfect. They got all the smokes down, they were close to the site. Stewie repositions though, hits a very important kill, finishes off the second as well. That's his job done. As long as he gets 1 and survives, Matt, we talked about this earlier in the first half, that's the job of the anchor. 1 and stay alive, delay. If you go down with 1, that's not great. If you go down with nothing, that's dire. If you just stay alive and no kills, that's okay as well. But Stewie plays that perfectly. He doesn't overcommit. He's confident in his teammates' ability to retake that bomb site. He doesn't risk too much. And now, starting to whittle down NIP. 12-10 in favor of MiBR. Still anyone's game here, but that's the first 2 rounds for MiBR in this half, and they've been quite good. Starting to get confident now. Cold Zera waiting to pounce towards Ivy. Fallen can either flash him in or take the first shot, and Cold Zera runs around the corner once the first kill comes in. Plenty of options here, but another default for NIP. No presence towards Ivy whatsoever. They have no AWP on the T side. Flashbangs deployed, and Rez trying to show us that fantastic aim once again. And he nails a headshot towards Tarek, but Fallen's still there, looking dangerous.
Sneaking up. It's not the bomb, unfortunately, because it was Rez and Force. They've got great positioning, except the one kill that went against them in that sequence of events getting to the site was the bomb. So they had to turn around. They couldn't get the plant, and they all get swept under the rug by MiBR. Now it's 3 in a row in their favor. There is money available to NIP. Not for everyone, but Dennis will get a charitable donation thrown his way, surely. So too will Get Right. Everything they did to get that 5-0 start, and it still might not be enough. Good shot through the smoke.
13-10, Matt. Not quite broken, but NIP are getting there. They'll take a tactical timeout now. They've got 2 of those remaining. I'm so glad this is going the distance now. This is where you see true greatness and chaotic Counter-Strike come through. We'll have a look at the scoreboard there. We haven't really kept track of it. Fallen at the very top with 17 kills and 10 deaths. Stewie beneath him with 16. Top for NIP. Forest and Get Right again. What a series it's been for them. Forest at 20 and 11. Get Right 17 and 17. They can hold their heads high whatever happens here. They've played out of their minds.
They've been waiting the longest, arguably, to get back to this status.
Yes.
So maybe there's something in that. Put it all on the line when they have to. Lead by example.
I think there's going to be a few tears at the end of this game, Matt, whatever happens.
Yeah, either way. There's no question there's going to be some tears, and I'm betting it's the man in front of the scope right now. Get Right just down the hall. That will be shedding a few. Probably the majority. Maybe even all.
Everyone's just crying. Happiness and sadness. It's all gone. Right. Either way, towards inside. They're trying to punish that single AWP again, but this time Fur's with them. He's going to clean up here. They're not going to be expecting this unless he misses the first shot, and Rez can punish him for it. Bomb planted. They know Stewie can still be here. Molotov towards it. They might save at this point, but Stewie still fighting. This is looking more convincing now. He actually might call for them to attempt the retake. And indeed, they will. Stewie finds him an opening. Can they get any closer?
It would be justified, given that they just won 3 rounds. They can damage the economy substantially either way. And there's no reason to believe they don't have a chance, because they all have kits, and Stewie's got another kill, forcing Lekro back after tagging him onto the flames. They're going to get closer. Dennis, trying desperately to stay alive, to stay above the flames that now finally extinguish, will have to support Get Right. He's down to 4! Dennis steps up, finally gets a 2-man spray down. A transfer at that. Stewie got Get Right just before, but Dennis has done enough. Fallen's gone. He'll go down with the bomb. But being a martyr in this occasion, not the worst thing. 11 rounds for Nip.
That's not bad. Dennis, rough series for him. One of the more experienced names within the NIP squad. First 2 maps pretty disastrous for him from an individual POV. But this time, much better. These are really high-impact kills. Calm under pressure as well. Did what he had to do to win the round there. That was his 13th frag. It's not setting the scoreboard on fire, but that's a very important sequence of events. Not going to be shutting down the money of MiBR just yet, but another tactical timeout. They will use a tactical timeout pretty much every round at this point. Nothing can be let by. They need to make sure they hold their composure on both teams. Money low from MiBR. You can see that reflected on the buy. Sure, they have a double AWP setup, but Tarek's only on the MP9. Not a bad weapon to have, especially you can go towards Pop Dog. Tarek on 11 kills, 15 deaths. I think that's the bottom of the server right now. Just actually in front of Fur, he's on 10 and 20. Normally, one of his calling cards is the aggression on train, likes to push inside, push towards Ivy. You can see Yanko's definitely leashed him a little bit more. But quite a quiet one from Fur here. Round number 25.
Close as you like. Lekro still left with that Galil. Cold's going to support Stewie. Ledge play for him. Get Right. Needs to be perfect. Check it, and that's exactly why they do it. That's even better, because Cold gets the response on Lekro when they try and trade it. He spotted it. Stewie turned. He's since gone down, but they get a 2-for-1. Bomb gets thrown behind and is left there so that NIP can try and pull this back without giving up too much, as Tarek on an MP9 is going to take over A main. That's not a bad position to have it. And this is how you know they're desperate to just get a pick and bring this level. Boost toward B. doesn't really work out all that often.
Enough to get the man advantage here. Forrest taking damage from the HE grenade. Tarek positioned right at that main entrance, but for now, Forrest smokes down toward the lower ramp. Might want to explore his options with the AWP at close range. All three players now for an IP, starting to head towards inner. For a great position just to get one and fade away. That's what he's looking for. Misfires, but makes up for it in the end. Go for the double kill. May have overcommitted that. I think falling back was the correct decision. Cold's error of pressure applied. He can't deny the plants, but he can get closer and closer to get the kill as they fall back.
Cold sneaking up. Checking to confirm that no one is on top of the bomb. They're both toward the hall. Tarek at range. That MP9 just can't do it from there, but it does give them the information. That gives Cold the confidence to go more aggressive. Dennis now has to clutch it out himself. 19 HP. No one's yet on the bomb, and he's making a lot of noise. Cold's still up in the upper position. Dennis was assuming that he'd drop down to get to the defuse. He's not, and MiBR find 14 rounds. On top of that, they've now reset NIP.
Well, there we go. 14-11, one step closer. My God, with the bomb even being planted now, that is a pretty huge reset. Remember, NIP were up 5-0 at the beginning. How fitting is it? The final map is a complete replica of the first two as well. NIP up 5-0, then they go on to lose 4 rounds out of 5 again after that. So they have to force buy here. This could decide the game in itself. They all are fully invested with CZ's, Deagles, 1 UMP, MiBR looking for playoff points here and eliminating NIP out of the major. They've been absent for 2 of them now. Didn't see them Boston or Krakow at all. They wanted to make their mark in London. They've already done that.
I'm going to go back and say Atlanta as well. It was the qualifier, remember? So
Sure.
they actually were not at... Technically, that now is part of the major, but they were not, by the definition of it at the time, were not at the Atlanta major either. So it was 3 that they weren't there for.
It's pretty insane. And like Matt said, there's going to be tears either way here, either of joy or of pure dismay. We'll see what happens. It comes down to this moment, in my opinion. This round decides if MiBR close it out right now. So much on the line and so much little to work with. Just CZ's, Deagles, a UMP for Dennis. Here comes the execution. Last chance for NIP. Can they do anything with this?
Smokes are down, but look at Tarek's position. He's forward of the wall, and he has an M4. Yeah, but he's going to walk out somehow. Tarek, even though he heard him, he looked away because he wanted to fire at the guys at A main. And that gives Get Right a kill. Everyone else is behind the smoke. Rez, I'll give him credit. He tried to run them down.
What?
Cold Zera is helping them. It's Fallen that he hits, but he's still alive. And with 55 HP, he'll turn to hit Forrest. Cold got so overwhelmed by Rez running in that quickly, he was expecting a barrage of players heading his direction. He will finally get taken out by Dennis. It's still 2-3. So NIP have a chance in this. Bomb planted as well on top of all of the work done as well. They're on the defuse, however. Get Right's got to have to nail the shot. Does. Gets Stewie. Doesn't have a gun to work with. Does have the angle. Fallen isn't close enough yet with the... Oh, AWP, he's not sure that they're on it. He didn't hear them get back on it. They threw the gun, it hit the ground. He got on the defuse, and Get Right can't do anything. MiBR find 15.
You saw how chaotic that was, Matt. Get Right towards the end. It looked like he'd done enough, but a smart reposition there. But the team shots coming in, the chaos that was ensuing, it was unbelievable. That shot especially, you can see everyone's so worked up. Cold Zero, though, holds his nerve in the end, and Fallen. It's a very vital shot. Get Right definitely had a chance of that last sequence. With the bomb going down, means at least they do get AKs here, but it's going to take so much out of them to get 4 rounds in a row and take us to overtime. But crazier things have happened in this major so far. 15-11, 1 round away from knocking NIP out of the tournament. MiBR much better off in terms of the utility and the weaponry. It's an equal trade to kick things off. Tarek can't nail the spray, does some damage, but has to fall back.
They forced overtime on the first map coming from behind NIP. They have to do it again. Fallen, he's missed 2 shots. That gives Forrest access to Tarek's position. Takes him down, no mistake about it. Bomb will be planted as a result. And it's NIP with the man advantage. Lekro may only have a Deagle, but that's not to worry. The bigger worry is exactly this. Cold Zera getting behind them. Stewie's already gotten Lekro. This now goes in favor of MiBR. Easy shot for Cold. It's all on Forrest and Dennis. Forrest displayed exceptionally well. Dennis has good positioning, mind you, because that's a gun barrel far too easily to predict the movement of, and he'll get the shot onto Stewie. Forrest can then swing wide, know that no one else will cover from. Old Bomb misses the shot on Fallen, however. And Dennis has to do it all. It's this or they're done. MiBR could go through to the playoffs here and now. They're on the defuse already, and Fallen nails another quick shot on the AWP. Appropriately, he'll close it. The captain puts MiBR back into the legend status.
Stylish way to close it all out. The bomb was ticking at quite some pace there. Dennis looked like he had done enough, but commiserations to NIP. They are eliminated. They will not be making it to the playoffs. MiBR get through by the skin of their teeth. Has to be one of the best series for me so far. So much character displayed, so much energy, and just everything was great about it. The players stepping up, Get Right and Forest playing amazingly well. But it wasn't quite enough in the end. Really enjoyed those last few moments as well. You could see the chaos coming through Mount, the team shots coming in, the communication falling apart, the pressure mounting.
And you can see Get Right taking a moment of reflection at the end of this. He'll be pleased that they've actually returned to this status somewhat.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're that close to getting a top 8 spot. That was the goal, ultimately, all along, to get back to that. But they are still in the next major. They're in the top 24, sorry.
I'm just looking at the cameras to see
that's what I was staring at when it came to us. I was just watching to see what Chris's reaction was. He was actually quite stoic, surprisingly, over it.
They can hold their heads high. They gave it everything there. It was the best of 3, epic series, really enjoyable. He played out of his mind. He can't be too upset about it. He's always going to be gutting, but couldn't have done much more.
No, couldn't have.
Well, Matthew,
yes,
it's goodbye from us for this section, and we're going to say hello to the victors down on the show floor with Freya.
Yes, guys, I am here with the winning side, MiBR. So, Stewie, how does it feel to take that final spot at the playoffs in Wembley?
It feels super accomplishing. I think we've been working pretty hard for the past 2 weeks, and to accomplish something so soon for us, it feels really good for us.
Now, Fallen, I spoke to you after your first victory here in Twickenham, and you said there was no way you were going home. You were here to stay. Are you happy with how the team has performed?
Yeah, I'm super happy, and the level of this major has been quite difficult, I would say. I have been playing 9 majors, the 9th time we become legends, and this was the hardest. That was very close. NIP did a 6 series against us, and I'm just proud of my team. As Stewie said, we worked hard for 30 days. It's been around 30 or 35 days as Janko joined the team, and we have been working 8 to 10 hours daily basis, almost non-stoppable, and to lose on this one will cost us a lot because we know how much effort we put into this, and that's the beauty of esports at all. I'm pretty sure they fought a lot as well, they work hard, but it's up to who shows up and show it on the game.
Yeah, that hard work definitely paid off for you guys. Before we delve into this match, I just want to talk about yesterday's match. Coming off that loss against Astralis, was there anything you guys learned, and was there anything you were preparing coming into this game?
To be honest, playing Australia is a whole different beast than playing another team in the world because they really are the best in the world right now. You can't take it away from them. And of course, Liquid has been showing good progress in order to try to dethrone them, but I think it's too early to say. And we still have to understand a little bit better how to prepare ourselves to play Astralis. And the preparation we did for yesterday, of course, didn't pay out, but maybe it did. Who knows? We lost 16-0 last time against Fnatic, and we got into the finals and became the best in the world for the next 2 years. So who knows the next chapter in his history?
I love that confidence. Now, let's talk about Cash. It's a map that we don't really see the new NIP lineup play very much. Were you expecting it to be such a close game?
I don't think we expected it to be such a close game. We were just focused on playing our own game. We don't have much on them on Cash. We know our Cash is pretty strong in our opinions, and we were just playing our own game. They put us all the way into OT, and they put up a good fight, and luckily we prevailed.
Yeah, I just want to speak about that overtime. You guys looked almost unstoppable on that T side, and then NIP suddenly, just out of nowhere, managed to get all those rounds in a row to take it to 15-15. How did you refocus in that overtime?
Yeah, it feels bad to really let the other team come back from 15-8 and not able to close the rounds, but you have to stay calm. I think that's one of the mistakes that a lot of teams are trying to come and become better. They kind of freak out when they don't finish the game. You can see that players are reacting like, oh my God, I didn't kill this guy, or they start suffering too much from what's happening in the game. And here we have this, I will say, this behavior where it doesn't matter if it's 15-1 or 15-14, we have to play the round the best we can, and even if things are not going our way, we know they can swiftly, very quickly. And that's exactly what happened for NIP. They were really losing hard. That was 15-8 for us. We could close the game, and suddenly they were back on track. So we had to keep ourselves very calm, and we knew that we had good rounds on T side. We knew how to get some kills, and I think all the adjustments we made during the rounds as T side were perfectly because we almost lost any situation on 3v3s, 4v3s. We play a very good game.
Now, just going into Mirage, that's a map that we've seen NIP be really strong on recently. What do you feel went wrong for you? Was it just NIP outskilling you guys?
I think they played super well. I don't have much to say about it, but I know they played super well. They stopped us everywhere. It was really hard to play against them, and they take a lot of battles, and they caught us off guard many times, and they they outclassed us on Mirage.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, there are 4 things that made us lose this Mirage. First is losing both pistols, but we can take it back on the first one because we won the force pipe. And then there's the 1-1 round, the third round of the game, where I was kind of got surprised by then coming up connector, and it cost us a round that made them go up 5-1. And later on the T side half, we lost the pistol again, which makes it very harder. And then when we got 2 rounds in a row, there was 1 kill that happened during the mid round of a default round where Fury got killed, and from there we couldn't come back to the game. So props to them. They have a very good Mirage. They have been playing super well on this map lately. We know it's one of their strengths, and nothing to say about this map. They really play better and deserved it.
So coming on to Train, the final map, you guys are both 1-1. What was the team's mentality like? Was it like coming onto a clean slate?
There is a king on Train. Who is the king of Train? I'm kidding. Train is a very good map. I love this map. For me, it's the most Alper iconic map, and it's such a great feeling to play this map every time. And we learned a lot from the defeat we had against Australis on the other tournament we played. We have been working hard on this map. I think it's one of our best maps, and we are very confident. It's hard to start T-side on Train. Every time you go for Train, you kind of don't want to pick it because you have to start T-side. If you don't get the pistol, things can go south very quickly. But I think the beginning of the game was very important. They did 2-0, and then we were able to do like 5-2 or something like that, and then we controlled the economy on the entire game. So that's why we had such a good game on the T-side.
Now, Stewie, you are still a reigning major champion with your previous team, Cloud9. How would it feel to go to Wembley and take your second major title in a row?
It's something, words can't really describe how happy I am that we made it on stage. I'm not too focused on the trophy yet. We're taking it game by game, round by round. We're just focusing on the next opponent in front of us.
Now, Fallen, we saw a lot of your friends and family backstage cheering you on. So anything you'd like to say to the fans at home and the fans that are going to come to Wembley to cheer you on?
Just would like to thank everyone who has been cheering for this new MiBR lineup. It's been an insane experience playing with this guy here. It's been super cool. I think he's improving a lot, and he's the player we needed, and I'm very confident and proud to have him and Tarek on the team. And Yanko is helping us a lot since he came to the team, and we feel the energy that we used to have when we were winning tournaments, and I hope we can get back to this level. So thanks all the fans for cheering and supporting us through those moments. We know that we have been on a better shape in the past, but we're going to get back to the top soon.
Thank you guys so much for your time, and congratulations again on that win. Alex, over to you for the final time.
MiBR have done it, but first things first, Fallen's English has just gone up to FACEIT level 10. He's absolutely nailing that. That's,
speaking as quickly as you, mate.
he is.
Yeah.
He's like a rap god and fluent and fantastic. I mean, they said the language barrier is a moot point, and it certainly feels fantastic stuff from Fallen. Not like he ever struggled, but wow. A lot of insight in a very short space of time, and this gentleman was quite the game. 3 maps slugfest. The 16-11 score on to Train.
Train definitely delivered, and it was touch and go the entire time there towards the end. I think massive props have to be given to Stewie and the way that he defended that inner bomb site.
Right.
He didn't get that many kills to lock it down, but it was the 1 or 2 that he did get when they were entering the site, and the information that he denied. There were several rounds where he stopped players either by utility or by grabbing an AWP kill from pushing all the way up to connector, and that gave MiBR a chance to actually retake that site, whereas otherwise some players let them push right up and the rotators get shut out. So yeah, props to MiBR. They played well. They looked flustered at certain times, but in the end won the crucial rounds to control the economy.
I agree with Chad. Stewie came up huge on these inner takes. The retakes were so on point from MiBR, both at the outside and inner bomb sites, actually. coldzera and Fallen also had really strong games themselves. Fun fact, though, Stewie and Fallen combined for 10 out of 14 entry opportunities.
Damn.
So that is a match-swinging stat right there on their behalf.
Oof.
But, I mean, hats off to NIP. They played so well throughout this major run. They played the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and this is the 7th best team in the world. In this stage alone, they defeated the #1 team in the world in Australis in the prior stage.
Yeah, I think, you know, Sean, you've just summarized perfectly why NIP can hold their heads high despite not making the top 8. You qualify through the minor, you go through the challenger, you have played essentially an assortment of the top 10 teams in the world. You fall to MiBR, who find their momentum, which they've lost for so long. It's definitely not something that they can be particularly ashamed of. That was just a good game at Counter-Strike, and in that instance, MiBR took it.
Yeah, solid Counter-Strike is back. It's not sporadic stuff that they're relying on. They're able to do it as a team. And, you know, we had Vintage, Forest, and Get Right back. They both had fantastic performances throughout this series. You could see how much they wanted it there, but just wasn't meant to be in the end. Even with all those pistol wins, they got 5 out of the 6 pistols across that series.
I wanted to bring that up. Isn't that insane? Like, when it gets to this stage, when you've had a whole series, you've won 1 of the pistols, Sean. Surely you go back to the drawing board and say, right, we're about to spend a day on pistol rounds.
Yeah, it's a little bit sad, but I mean, this is what we expected of NIP when they, brought Dennis into the team. We
Yeah,
thought, oh, they
sure.
win all the pistols with Dennis, Forrest, Rez, Lekro. These are great pistol players. So
yeah, and in fact,
happened.
I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to see one of those pistol rounds for our play of the day. That's just a tingle in my dingle. But first, let's have a look at that head-to-head, and we'll see exactly what's going on. It was, of course, Lekro and coldzera. It's brought to you by The Predator, which is in cinemas now. Go give it a check out. Lekro was what we considered a win condition, and he certainly did deliver on the successes from NIP. You talked about it, apart from Mirage, where we really lost him despite their victory.
He called very well, especially on that train game, watching his decisions, knowing the fact the economy was in a bad spot for them. He made the right calls in the right times. I think coldzera, on the other hand, he just had the same impact as always. He does the job. When he needs to step up and be flashy with clutches, he can do that, but you always know coldzera is going to get his.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at least he's rocking 70 frags alongside Forrest and Get Right on the other side of things. Those guys were fragging out of their mind, and it's just so good that whilst the old guard, like the majority of the old guard, have been having their struggles at this major, and we call this, the changing of the guard here in London, Get Right and Forrest, some of the OGs are still fragging and firing on all cylinders. And speaking of Forrest, I think he features in our play of the day. Every day here at the Major, we select one play brought to you by The Predator that we consider worthy of the play of the day title. This one's probably quite fresh in your minds. Forrest just going insane.
It's 3 kills in a very quick amount of time there, and once he picked up the USP, there was lots of whiffing going on by both teams, but he was sharp as attack and just absolutely annihilated them. It's going to feel pretty hollow not getting the victory after doing something like that.
Yeah, I mean, but my mind always wanders to that. When you feel like you've put in a performance of a lifetime and still don't come out with the W, I'm sure it's a bittersweet pill to swallow. All the same, though, fantastic work from Forrest, and great to see him back on form. It looked like he'd lost his mojo for a while, Sean, but we've got Forrest back here for the end of 2018.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure watching Forrest play CS, especially when you know he has such a high sensitivity. I mean, he is just so precise.
Yeah, we do have today's results for you, so you can go ahead and get your head around what we're left with. We had just 3 spots coming into today, and they are taken. It was Hellraisers who knocked Fnatic out and ruined the dreams of one of the organizations to have been in every single Counter-Strike major.
Is it any surprise that all 3 series had at least 1 overtime?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's rather appropriate given the current situation.
Yeah, for sure.
We are setting records right now. Let's see what happens at the Legend stage, shall we? But these are your qualified teams. That is it. That is the end, the Challenger, the Legend stage. All culminates with these 8 teams. Breathe it in and let's take our time just for a moment to cast our eyes down that eliminated list. Anything jumping off the page here, Chad? I mean, I think Tyloo, for one, should have a lot to be proud of from their Challenger to this run.
Yeah, they definitely proved themselves as to be a higher caliber of team than what they've done at previous majors before. I think another one there, obviously missing Mouse Sports, but they were, I don't want to say they were a no-show. They did have definitely hard opponents, but those 2 names stick out the most for me. We saw surprises from the likes of Vega once again. Some of the other teams, obviously NIP. Obviously NIP,
Yeah, and Sean, those winners, I mean, Complexity Liquid, North America flying their flag high. Who's your dark horse to be making a run?
I would put my money on Big. If you wanted a dark horse to make a run in this major, Big is the one.
Big, of course, have been putting in quite the show, and they'll be doing their homework once they get to look at the bracket, and I think you can have a look at it as well. These are your games. If you've got yourselves a ticket to the major, you'll be seeing these games of Counter-Strike live before your eyes with the players taking to the stage. If you haven't, go grab one. But this is the situation as it stands. Oh, we get Astralis FaZe, Liquid, Hellraisers, Big, Na'Vi. You still want to commit to that Big prediction?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think they can do it.
Okay.
Well, if there's one team that's going to be able to negate Simple, it might be Big with some heavy counter-stratting.
Yeah, that's true. Or if of all the teams to counter-strat, get your head around Zeus and get your head around Na'Vi. That could be fun. My goodness. Okay. We've got time off now, guys. What do we do?
Get a Liquid Astralis semi.
3 days.
Liquid Astralis in the semi-final. Okay, before we do go, let's double-check. We're the end of another stage on those talent predictions, gentlemen.
Oh, I had 100% today.
Did you know?
Oh,
Dan
Dan is 3%. I am furious.
You're close, Alex. You were very close.
I'm doing all right. Maybe, everyone's close.
Maybe for the next round we have to bring in, the 2-1s or the 2-0s.
Oh, what, just to make it extra spicy?
Add a bit of spice to the whole equation.
And more confusing for the guy making the graphic as well. But yes, okay. So everyone's close, and it's, of course, going to be a whole lot of fun to see how the games transpire when we get to the SSE Arena in Wembley. That doesn't happen just yet, though. In fact, we're going to be taking a bit of a break. break and we're going to disappear so we can prepare ourselves and the teams can prepare for the world-class Counter-Strike to come. Gentlemen, ladies, and everyone who has been watching us for the last couple of days, in fact, the 2 weeks, if you've been with us from the Challenger stage, we are going to leave you now with some of our fond memories from the last week of Counter-Strike, and we'll see you back when we're in the arena on Thursday.
What's up, everybody? What up? We may be subject to different lives, but I swear I heard your heartbeat once or twice. All I ever do is fix things. You're the only one that can fix me. I'm waiting for the siege. I cease to believe in fate.